What's up, Dance Fever?
What's up, Thinman?
Losing all my antidepressant weight, baby.
Working out like a champion.
All I've been doing is working out and watching the comedies. Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anyone. Jessica likes comedy.
Don't tell anyone. Still a Dark Lord, I promise. I did just watch 2 episodes of Mr. Ballin, but I'm gonna be honest, it didn't hit the same as it used to.
I'm telling you, I have been a Dark Lord for many, many years and enjoy the comedy very, very much.
I know.
I think the other thing that people forget too, and I've talked about this on podcasts and other stuff, but when you listen to especially improv comedy, it very often goes to like UFOs, ghosts, and monsters.
Oh yeah, just to like throw them off. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I know. I've seen it happen already. I already have ideas in mind in case they call on me on accident when I go to the show.
Right?
And I'm really not meaning to talk about him every fucking episode, but Ben Schwartz again in an interview, he said somebody brought up. Obviously, he was talking about improv, and then somebody brought up podcasts, or that the guy interviewing him had a podcast, and he's like, "That's improv." He's like, "Y'all might have bullet points, but all you do is improv." I'm like, "Yup, exactly. Like me and you are literally improv partners. That's all we fucking do."
It's true. Except I don't very often yes and you.
No.
Like I cut you down. I make it harder for you to talk.
I do it to you too, though.
You do it a lot.
I know.
I will be talking about something and then your response will be on a completely unrelated topic.
I know. I don't know. Sometimes you talk about shit, I don't know what the fuck to say. I can't. So you're on some nerd shit sometimes and I don't know what to say. Well, guess what?
What?
This is our 100th anniversary, 100th episode.
I know.
Crazy. Yeah. Went by really fast.
When you think about it, it does.
I think it did.
100 episodes rolling into the 3rd year of doing this.
Oh.
3rd and final year of doing this.
Oh, stop. We're never going to stop.
Oh, I'll stop at some point. You can get another person to talk to.
I don't want to.
We'll figure it out.
Okay. Good talk. What a nice positive note on our 100th. But yeah, this is an EVP episode, so we're going to take viewer calls. We have a lot. Listener
We don't
calls.
have to listen to all of them.
No, I know. We're only going to listen to part of them because I can't fit them all in this episode. You are doing Little Traverse Bay Parafest this weekend, so we need you to get this on the airwaves before you leave. So if I make it too long, then you literally won't do it.
That is absolutely correct.
I know. So we have to really make it like a little fun-sized snacky-do of listener calls.
Yes, I agree. But then we can record when I come back from Little Traverse Bay and I can talk about Little Traverse Bay.
Listen, I have a question. If I were to go to the drive-in with Toad this weekend and see Evil Dead, would you be pissed?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Would you be mad if I told you I went and saw it yesterday without you?
You did?
No, but would you be mad?
No. You didn't though, right?
I did not.
Okay. I didn't think you would be. I usually feel your like genuine excitement for a film, and this isn't it. So
I did get you for a second though.
you did. I know. I was like, whatever. You couldn't have dragged me out of my house yesterday, so I wouldn't have gave a fuck if you went anyway. But okay, I might go then. Because I've been wanting to go back to the drive-in and I want to bring Toad, and I don't want to go to the movies without Toad.
Do it.
Okay. Listen, the drive-in has 1:50 in the morning showings of Evil Dead.
That's got to be wild.
I know. I'm kind of terrified. I swear to you, I almost went on Friday. I'm like, I don't know if I want to be in that area at that time.
It's got to be wild.
I know. I don't think I'm going to go then, but
I don't remember the last time I went to a drive-in.
I saw Freaky at the drive-in. That was my last one. It was really fun.
Yeah. The last time I went to a drive-in was probably, I don't know, in the early 80s.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Go to the damn drive-in.
I remember seeing Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band at the drive-in movie theater.
Oh my God. Listen, you've really been on some fucking nostalgia shit do you think you're dying? Like what is going, all of your posts, nothing is current. Everything is, I swear. I'm a little bit concerned that you think you're going to die with your posting.
No, I just, I forget how much I've done sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I start to remember, like one thing will spark another thing, And then before I know it, I'm like, holy shit. I've done a lot of weird fucking shit.
I don't know, I feel like I've done a lot of weird shit, and you got more time on me than
Yeah. And then like I thought about dancing on that 80s dance show, and then that sparked a whole bunch of memories and then I found it. I couldn't believe that I fucking found video of it. Unbelievable.
I couldn't believe you tweeted under it that that was the girl you lost your virginity to, man. Nobody asked.
Yeah, but I mean,
I was devastated.
I got no secrets, whatever.
I know you don't. There's a difference between having those secrets and volunteering information that makes people feel weird.
Well, here's my mode of thinking on that, right? So I tweeted that I was on the dance show, then I found the footage and I tweeted the footage, and then I realized, oh, the girl that I'm dancing with, that was the girl who told me her house was haunted, and it was the very first paranormal investigation I did. Then her house burnt down later on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I tweeted, the girl I'm dancing with is my first paranormal investigation, and her house burnt down. Like, that was the next tweet.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought to myself, this is my brain, the way it works. And then my brain was like, oh, I have talked on many podcasts about the first girl I slept with was also the first ghost investigation I did.
Mm-hmm.
And so just for clarity, and anybody that may have been paying attention to my interviews, I said that was also the girl I lost my virginity to.
Yeah. And now
Because I thought someone would post underneath it, oh, so that's the girl you lost your virginity to. And so I thought I'd just preempt them by putting it out there.
that's the story where you like run down the stairs, that shit.
Yeah. And I saw like a weird predator looking creature that you could see through, and
Mm-hmm.
it blasted past me at the front door, and I got scared, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was fucked up.
Yeah, I remember that. Well, now everybody knows, and everybody saw you dancing like a Peanuts character. So cute. Your hair is so big.
My hair was so big, so tall.
So sick. I
And
like
it looked like the backs and side were freshly shaved.
I know it was.
And then I found the whole episode. And so I watched the whole push it dance part of it. And you can see, this is stuff I didn't remember until I watched it. You can see like the 4 other people that I came with, and they're not dancing. They're like standing off to the sides because there's like 4 other punk rock kids there
Mhm.
who are like, we're not dancing to push it. And they like stood off to the side. So you can see them being like mopey punk rock kids.
That would be me on the side. Like, I'm not doing this right now.
And strangely enough, those mopey punk rock kids, when I saw that, I was like, oh, and they were like the first group of occultists that I met.
Is that the guy who got his leg chopped off?
No, different.
Oh, okay. Shout out to that guy.
Shout out to Chris.
Okay. Let's fucking play some messages before we make a whole ass regular episode and we don't play.
Fine.
Like, are we just doing a regular episode now? Okay. First message. I'm gonna start with a banger. Okay, ready? How did I do this last time?
I don't know.
Okay.
What up, skanks? Your show is terrible. I don't know why someone gave you a show. Penny sounds like an old man, and Jessica sounds like she's not wearing any makeup. I don't like it. 1 star, no alien. Bye, losers.
You love it.
It's very funny. I don't know who is in control of an Adam Berry robot.
Well, it's Adam Berry.
It sounds like someone fed Adam's voice into an AI and then told it to say stuff.
I know. I feel like that was like the angriest he could make himself sound. My initial plan was to play that and let people be pissed for like 5 minutes and then come back to it and be like, you guys, it wasn't a real person. It was fucking. I couldn't even do it. I couldn't even play it straight for 5 seconds. Okay, that's our first call. Next call. This one is a 2-parter. Okay.
Sup, Brundle Flies? Hey, this is Tori from Texas, Houston, more specifically, but you guys probably only recognize me from Part-Time Jesus on the thing and the thing and the things. Anyways, so I work with a lot of furry critters, fang critters, critters in general, and my work took me about an hour and a half north of Houston last week to a little town that's named after an artificial sweetener. So I get out to this place, the vacant house, right, in the fucking country, middle of nowhere, and get out of my truck, check the place out. First thing I got to do find an attic, right? Because that's what I do, luckily. Anyways, so I'm looking around, can't find the fucking attic. Where the fuck's the attic? And then I realize it's on like an add-on, kind of like a driveway, weird little thing that someone had built at some point, covered area. It's not an attic, it's a door in the fucking wall, but it's like 10 feet up. So you gotta get a fucking ladder to get up into this place. Oh, sorry if I'm saying fuck way too much, but fuck it. Anyway, so I get my ladder, get up there. They have these weird little wooden, like, cross beam locks on it. It's just a little piece of wood nailed to the wall that you swivel, right? That just holds the door shut. So I swivel all three of them, pop the door open, pop on my light, and first thing I see is skeletons looking at me. It's three Santa, I believe, and I'm going to butcher this, Santa Muerte statues, which down here is a Hispanic kind of Catholic offshoot belief. It's death worship, but not like fucking Fox News death worship, like in a positive sort of way. Although I've seen it negatively with animal sacrifice and shit, but that's more in. Anyway, so I recognize these statues. I'm like, okay, it's happening in a weird little attic in the fucking country in the middle of nowhere. Cool. You gotta climb in here, poke around for a minute. They're staring at me. They had money in their hands, which is always, as I've seen it previously, an offering, if you will, because they're not really sacrificing it, I guess. We all sacrifice money. Anyways, so looking around, being respectful, turn around, see as I'm exiting, there's a chair on my side knocked over, like someone had been hanging out up here for some time or something, and an axe and a machete. Curious, leads me to thinking about previous experiences with the guys into this shit that like killed, one's a turtle, rooster, and once again, that's in Houston. I'm in the country.
So basically, his job, I think, is to get animals out of people's like attics and houses and shit when there's an animal in the wall. And they were like, okay, go do this thing. And then he goes up in this attic that's in like an outbuilding, like a barn building. And in the attic is like a bunch of giant Santa Muerte statues. Like, and I'm not joking, they're like all like fucking 5 feet tall, just skeletons. The people didn't warn him at all, and they have like money in their hands and offerings and fucking candles. And he DM'd me these pictures, and I'm like, oh my god, you gotta call and tell us the whole fucking story, because the pictures are so scary. Even if it's not scary, it would just be like jarring if you didn't know that was about to be up there.
No, as a person who has walked into many places where people don't tell you what to expect, I walked into, I'll never forget, this was probably 10 to 15 years ago. I was invited to go like investigate a Masonic temple in Indiana somewhere. And they gave me free reign. They're like, here's the keys to all the rooms, like whatever. And I walked up into this attic-y type part, and I opened the door, and it's dark. There's no lights or anything. And I opened it, and it was filled with mannequins.
Yeah.
Fully dressed in like suits and ties, like male mannequins. And I opened the door, and I was like, ah! Like, it was such a freak out, because there's like, my brain was like, there's people quietly standing in this room. Why are all these people quietly standing in this room? I'm alone in this Masonic. It was crazy.
Yeah, like, thanks for the heads up.
Yeah.
All right, here's the second part of his message.
All right.
This is Tori from Texas again, part 2. Anyways, so there was a fucking machete and an axe laying there to the right of the little entrance door area. And I'm thinking, wow, I wonder if they use these to kill something, or is it just, happenstance? And there's just farm tools on the fucking farm. And as I'm thinking this, I realized I just reached down and picked up the fucking axe. And I'm holding this axe thinking, I shouldn't be holding this. So I very quickly unheld the thing, dropped that son of a bitch down on the floor, and apologized. Sorry, not my axe, my bad, got the fuck out. Anyways, did my thing, left, came home, and the next day, still, thinking, well, it was a weird day. Another day on the job, whatever. I get a couple of notifications between 12 and 1 in the afternoon, and each one is only 5 seconds, I think, something like that, but it tripped my Blink cameras at home, both in the kitchen, which is weird because there's a camera on the right and the left on the outside of the kitchen that should have been tripped if that one was going to go off. Neither one did. And It took me a second to realize what was going on, but it was the light. Something had switched on the light. 5 seconds, switch it off. His night vision clicks back on. It was crazy. Not saying it's related. I saged the shit out of the place. So that was a couple days ago. So still waiting to see if anything else happens. But if it does, I will keep you guys posted. Other than that, love you guys. And for the record, all squirrels are in fact named Dave. Bye.
All squirrels are named Dave.
They are. So yeah, as I mentioned before, he sent me those photos, and so I saved them, and he said I could post them if I want. So whenever this episode drops, I'll post them on our Instagram, so you can see how fucking creepy they are. And
Yeah.
I like that.
That was
photo.
like, I've talked about it before, but that was like when I was filming Ghost Stalkers and had a dream about killing everybody with a hammer. Then we got to Holmesburg prison and I opened up a locker, and the next thing I know, I'm standing in a haunted place holding a hammer.
Yeah.
Like, why am I holding this?
Yeah, like what made me do this? No bueno. Okay.
Plus, I always like weird, creepy syncs that start to happen at like when you go home afterward.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's what yeah, exactly. We was talking about with the security camera going
Yeah.
on. Okay.
Hey, Jess, it's Cass and Tony and Toad. So we just got the package today from Old Town Roasting. It's awesome. And oh my God, Jess, I tried pizza with Italian dressing, and you just changed my life. Literally changed my life. I was like, I've been missing so much. Also, can I just say how crazy it is? So Maddie, the daughter, got me into catfish, and how fucking crazy is it that so many of these are from Michigan? How do you guys have so many catfishes there? I think we gotta go catfishing.
Catfish capital.
I want to tell you guys thank you again for everything, and also everybody needs to try pizza with Italian dressing because Jess is a genius because it is so good. I used to do ranch, but now I think I'm on the Italian side. I hope everybody has a great night. Bye.
That's Cass, who won our Win a Date with John Tenney contest.
You getting people to eat pizza with Italian dressing.
I know, I've done it since like middle school. Most everybody eats ranch with their pizza or just doesn't eat anything with their pizza, but I've always been Italian dressing. And the Italian dressings differ by which pizza it is. It's a whole thing, but it's my whole shit and it's so good. So you guys can try it. And I'm glad you liked it.
I don't mind it, but like it's not my preference.
Yeah, I get that. It makes stuff very salty. I'm a salt freak.
I mean, have you ever tried pizza with Greek dressing?
Yeah, that's like the same thing. Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah. Or like you talk about before, like when you smash your bread in the rest of your salad, it's like that. It's just fucking good. Also, like this, she says, Italian. Italian.
Why do you think there's so many catfish in Michigan?
I don't know. Maybe he just likes coming here, so he just opens all the messages from Michigan people. I don't know, but some of the best episodes really are from here. All right, next message.
I'm going to tell you a story. Mom was a public school teacher, and my dad was a civil engineer. In the year 1986, so back then I was 10 years old, my mom had heard from a teacher in a neighboring county that she had somehow finagled a way to take school kids over to the Soviet Union.
Wait, I have to pause it for 1 second. But two things. One, when that guy's voice first came on, when I first listened to this, it gave me the worst goosebumps. I'm like, holy shit, this is about to be this guy needs a podcast. He has the scariest voice ever. Secondly, you guys, if you have any fucking kids in the room, whoops. Well, I just swore anyway, but this person, I think we've found the one person on earth who swears more than I do. Like, not even, if somebody takes a swear count in this is a 2-part voicemail, and the swear count is unreal. So if you have any kids around, fair warning, even though I just swore.
You have been warned.
I've been warned. Back to the voicemail.
And so she, of course, went and vetted this out. This is what people did, before the invention of the internet ruined the entire fucking world. Well, by happenstance, she found out that there was a spot open, so she signed me up. So when I was 10, my first trip overseas was to go to Moscow. And at that time, to my knowledge, unless you were from a communist country, you couldn't get into the Soviet Union. And so, my dad thought that this was just like the greatest fucking thing ever. and he offered to pay half. So I did nothing but shovel walks and cut lawns to get the fucking money to be able to go. And I didn't fucking know anything. I was 10. I didn't fucking know anything about communism, about, that you could get whatever the fuck you wanted for a pair of Levi's jeans or Gorbachev or any of that fucking shit. I just knew that I could get out of the fucking house and away from my parents for a couple of fucking days. So that's what I went and fucking did. And when we got over there, we landed in Moscow. There's these two fucking guys there. And the teacher's like, hey, don't worry about those dudes. They're our Soviet overseers. I'm like, what the fuck is that? She's like, just think of them as chaperones. And then she's like, don't worry, they don't speak any English, so it doesn't matter. And, looking back upon this story, it was very obvious that those two guys were fucking KGB. And they followed us around fucking everywhere, watching what we were doing. So by happenstance, we stayed in a hotel that I think was the 6th floor walk-up. We were on the 4th floor, and it was on the corner of Red Square. And I got up one day, and there's all these fucking huge fucking posters. We were out going to tour or something. I don't remember what it was. There's these huge posters up. It's got fucking pictures of Lenin all over it, all this fucking Soviet writing. I didn't have a clue what it fucking said. And half of this poster's torn out. So I was like, man, that's a cool looking piece of paper. So I took it off the wall, folded it up, put it in my backpack. Didn't think anything of it. Well, later on, I learned that day was Lenin's birthday.
All right, second part.
Oh, that beep at the end is fucking annoying. Anyways, it's Lenin's birthday. So in the Soviet Union at that time, his birthday was a national holiday. And if you're a good quote unquote Soviet Unioner, you lined up to go see Lenin's body, which was in Red Square. Apparently he's entombed in this glass coffin that you can fucking see his whole thing almost like a mummy. I don't really know. I never saw it, but all these fucking people were queued up in this courtyard, and we had gone back to the hotel to wait for a bus to go to the next whatever the fuck we were going to. And there seemed to be a lot of downtime in the Soviet Union. We're always fucking waiting for something. And so, being a great ambassador to America that I am, and being fucking bored, 10-year-old with a fucking giant piece of fucking paper, what do you fucking do with a giant piece of paper? Well, of course, you make a giant fucking paper airplane fucking with it. So I proceeded to make this airplane. I fucking opened up the window in this hotel. I did a fucking full wind up. I pitched that fucking paper airplane right out the fucking window. And right as that paper airplane cleared the threshold of that window, it was like time fucking stopped, because all these fucking people down below just locked onto this fucking thing visually. And I mean, I don't know if fucking people from the Soviet Union never motherfucking seen a fucking paper airplane. They sure as fuck acted like they fucking hadn't. Like, bewildered would be the fucking term that I would fucking use. And this fucking paper airplane sailed across fucking Red Square. And I was like, oh, fucking sweet. And then I fucking hear this, right when that paper airplane landed, I hear the fucking hotel door way down at the bottom stairwell fucking slam open. And I knew fucking instantly that sound was for me. And fucking fear, dread, anxiety, all fucking bad shit you can think of in life filled every fucking cell in my body. And I remember looking down out that window, because I can hear two guys coming up the fucking stairwell. And I'm like, fuck. And I was like, I can't make that jump without seriously getting fucked up. They kicked the fucking door in. A fucking guy grabs me by the fucking shirt collar, picked me up entirely off the fucking air, and he was like, we go see teacher now. I was like, you can speak English?
That's it. Was the whole thing a joke, or was it real and ended with a joke?
It was real.
I think it was real too.
I think it was real.
I liked it. You had me hanging on for what the fuck was gonna happen the whole time.
There's a lot of swears in that.
A lot of swears.
As the story goes on, the swearing becomes more and more.
I know. For someone swearing to stand out, it has to be bad for me to notice, because that's all I do.
It's so funny.
I know.
Yeah, my friend Chris went to Russia back before it fell, and Chris came back with like Soviet hats and coats, like from Russian guards.
Mm.
And he traded them like socks and jeans and t-shirts, and they would like in Red Square. those huge Russian furry hats.
Mhm.
And the soldiers were like, hat and coat for jeans. And he went back to his room and got him a pair of like Levi's and traded this Russian soldier for his hat and coat for a pair of American jeans.
Crazy.
Crazy
Times. All the craziness. All right. Another one. This is just a one-parter.
Ooh.
Hello, weirdos. My name is BJ. I am calling from Central PA, and it seems like you all had an excellent time after the win a date with John Tenney date. But I wanted to call and let you know what I would have had us do had I won, because I also entered that raffle. I would have had Penny fly out to Pennsylvania. Of course, Jessica's always welcome with Toad, but I know that the flying issue with Toad is always a problem. So I would have had Penny come out to Pennsylvania to hang out with us. And my friend Sarah has a party every year. It's a vampire party for Valentine's Day. So that weekend hopefully would have been the vampire party weekend. But this year was special because it was the first annual vampire conference as well. So Friday, we had our vampire conference, which the dress code was dress to impress. And we all had 20-minute presentations that we did on vampire-related subjects. For example, mine was vitamin D deficiency in vampires and how to monitor and treat yourself for low vitamin D, because 100% of vampires have vitamin D due to their issues with being in the sun. We also had our keynote speaker, which was our friend that he did a presentation on, so now you're in abomination, how to cope with religion in the afterlife as a vampire, which involved a rating system of how many fangs. I think the top was 4 fangs for the best religions to potentially be a vampire and still be able to practice. So that would have been Friday. And then Saturday would have been just the vampire party, which was a costume party. And I went as Dr. Acula. This is for a vague Scrubs reference. And of course, Tenny is kind of a vampire always, I guess, sleeps during the day and is up all night. So that probably would have been fitting for him just to come as himself. But the conference itself was the most fun ever. Whenever I was waiting for the results of the raffle, I was like, oh my gosh, what if I'm picked? And then do I need to just have him for one day? Like, how do I choose between the party and the conference? But now I know for next year, because if you do it again, of course, I'll enter again. We'll have the conference again. Then I would just have you come to the conference because it was the absolute most fun ever. I guess a vampire conference with PowerPoint presentations is what happens whenever all of your friends are academics. But I just wanted to call and let you know what fun you would have had, and say I'm glad that you had lots of fun anyway on your other team. Thank you. Bye.
I will start preparing my lecture for the vampire conference next year.
Yes. I know. I like how anybody that brings up our conference is like, well, when you do it next year, I'm like, oh, I guess we're okay. Like, you guys are saying that we're already doing it. So I guess
it's going to be a thing.
It has to be a thing. Everybody's got plans.
I will be speaking on the Jiangshi Chinese hopping vampires. Will be my lecture next year.
Are they tiny?
No, they're vampires.
I don't know why I pictured them like little guys.
I mean, they can be cute little guys, but they're if they died when they were little, I guess.
Yeah, true.
But Chinese vampires, they have rigor mortis, so their legs don't bend, and since they're evil, the earth repels them. What? So they hop when they are chasing you.
Oh my god!
And you can take a little Chinese prayer and stick it on their forehead, and then they'll just stop moving.
I'm gonna be honest. We're not talking enough about Chinese hopping vampires.
We're really not. If you get bit by one too, you can put a bunch of rice on your bed and then jump up and down on the rice, and all the evil will come out of your body and get stuck on the rice, and then you just throw the rice away.
Is this part of the lore, or did you just make that up?
No, that's part of the lore.
I love this. There's a whole episode about this. What are they called again?
Jiangshi. Chinese hopping vampires. And there's some really good Chinese hopping vampire martial arts films.
Oh my gosh.
Most well-known is called Mr. Vampire.
All right, next message.
Hi guys, it's Jim calling. Just started listening to the Patreon special of the listener call messages, and it's Fort Michilimackinac is actually the one that's the reconstruction of Mackinac City. Fort Mackinac is the original buildings that are on Mackinac Island. So there are 2 forts. The one in Mackinac City is Michilimackinac. I used to work for the state park, so I'm very familiar. My wife actually works for them still. So, but Mackinac is Fort Mackinac on the island, and then Fort Michilimackinac or Colonial Michilimackinac is the one that's right by the bridge in Mackinac City. Okay, bye.
That's what I'm looking for. That's in clarified info. Exactly what we needed.
Yeah, that you were wrong.
I'm not wrong. There's 2 forts.
No, but when that person initially brought it up, they said they were at Fort Mackinac, and I said it was on the island, and you're like, no, what about that one in Mackinac City? I'm like, no, that's not the one. The one in Mackinac City is Fort Michilimackinac. It's different.
Yeah, but you don't know if the person calling is calling it Fort Mackinac or just because it's in Mackinac City.
Why would they call it the wrong thing?
I know a lot of people, Michigan people, who have said they've been to Fort Mackinac, and they mean they've been to Mackinac City and they've been to Fort Michilimack.
No.
Yes.
No.
I do.
Okay, well, you're wrong and they're all wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just asking people for clarification, and I appreciate clarification.
I know.
I also appreciate short phone calls like that.
I know exactly who that was, and he's a nice person. No, you know who it was too. All right, next message. One parter.
Hi, Jessica and Penny. This is Debbie calling from North Dakota, and that's where the story kind of starts. I have a ghost story today. I'm hoping that you enjoy it. I've lived with it for a long time. It happened when my daughter was 4, and she's 35 now, so literally been carrying this one around with me for a while. It's actually something that made me really believe in the supernatural, paranormal, ghosty kind of thing, because I cannot explain this one away. So here we go. We moved out from California to North Dakota when my daughter was 4. And we moved into this house basically sight unseen, but it was a very, very old house. It had been moved onto the property in like the 1900s. Huge home. It used to be a big, giant barn. Anyway, it was one of those homes that still had skeleton keys for the front door and the back door, and a mud room, and the bathrooms had those chain locks. And this is important to the story, which is why I'm talking about locks. But it had those chain locks where you slide the little button in and slide it over to lock the door. And anyhow, I was cooking supper, dinner, evening meal for myself and my daughter, and I was at the kitchen, and she was playing around. She was chasing her cat around, and she ran into the little laundry room that's right off the kitchen. And I didn't really think much of it. They were playing, and she was giggling, and the door closed. I didn't think anything of that either. And about 5 minutes later, she kind of yells from the bathroom, "Mama, I want to come out." And I said, "Okay, well, come out. You know, I'm cooking on the stovetop. I'm not really paying much attention to it." And I said, "Well, come out." And she yells back to the door that the door's locked. And I said, "Well, unlock it." And then she says, "I can't reach it." And I got complete cold chills over my body, went to the door, opened it, and the chain lock was locked. And the chain lock is like 6 inches from the top of the door. And it was slid into place. She could not reach it. There's nothing she could have stood on or anything to play with it. I think I would have heard that anyway. But that was the scariest thing that happened in that house. There's lots more stories, but that threw me into a panic. I basically had to break the lock from my side of the door by like wedging a screwdriver against the chain and pulling the lock base that was screwed into the door. Basically broke this door to get her out of there. And it was the scariest thing that has happened to me in that house, although there's lots more. So I can't explain it. There's no way she could have reached the lock. And it was a manual, like, slide the button in, slide it over, and it locked her in that lock.
Isn't that fucking scary?
Yeah. That's why I try and tell people at my lectures, like, you don't have to be abducted by aliens every week. You don't have to see full-bodied apparitions. Sometimes the weirdest fucking shit is just something small and fucking bizarre that should not be able to happen. Like, your smallest ghost story is still powerful.
Yeah, her tiny ass kid would never be able to reach that up that high. Like, no.
Yeah.
That's so scary to me.
Now you're going to be scared you're locked in your bathroom.
Well, it also reminded me of a story too. When I was little, I was playing Ouija board with my friends in my house. It was when my mom was at work, and like we had like a big dog at the time, and I would do like a certain whistle and he would come running. And like even if I did it so quiet, he would come running, right? So we were playing the Ouija board for a while. It kept getting weirder and weirder, so we got fucking scared. So I went to like get the dog to come. It was like that exact whistle, and he wasn't coming. And I was like, and I did it again, and he didn't come. And I'm like, what the fuck? So like me and my friend like held hands down the hallway, went and looked for him, and he was locked in the fucking basement, and we didn't do it. We were the only fucking ones home. We didn't do it. So we got him out of the basement. He was fucking terrified. He like tears out of the fucking basement and comes and sits by us and like comes in my room. And then we go back to the Ouija board. And I was like, did whatever we're talking to, like lock the dog in the basement to keep him from protecting us. And the board went to yes. And I was like, oh, fucking K, we're done now. Like, what? That's like one of my most memorable. That's why I don't all the way fuck with those, because I've had scary experiences with those.
What was that dog's name?
Big Jake, after a John Wayne movie.
Cowboys.
Yeah, fucking cowboys. Exactly. His name was Big Jake.
There you go.
Followed by cowboys. Haunted cowboys. Okay, we have one message left. It's a two-parter. Let's go.
Hello, my loves. I am calling. My name's Jennifer, and I'm calling. I've loved you guys for years and years, listened to the podcast from the beginning. But I wanted to tell you about my funny little ghost story that happened in my old house. My husband and I had purchased an old Victorian house in a town in New Jersey that had square blocks and a main street, very walkable, and there's always people wandering around. We had bought it in October of the year, doesn't matter. At the time, my husband, myself, and our then 8-year-old daughter were living in the house. She had her own room with her girly stuff scattered everywhere. So the story in question takes place in February. It was the first night I spent alone in the house because my husband went to Philadelphia on a business trip. I went to bed at normal, sleep like a rock, about 3 a.m. because I woke up because I thought I heard a voice. I opened one eye and was like, maybe it's people walking by. And then I realized that the window next to my bed was closed as it's February, but I still thought I just heard things or dreamed about it and laid back down. Next, I heard a laugh, a high-pitched, crazy as shit sounding laugh. And oh boy, I was absolutely awake. Sat right up in bed, and then I heard it again. So what do? I do in this situation what anybody would. I called my husband, who was at this point 90 minutes away in a hotel room he's sharing with another dude. He is my partner in crime and a gem of a human being. So he answers the phone at 3 a.m. and I yell, holy shit, I heard a laugh. And he went and sat in the bathtub of the hotel room because it's 3 a.m. and he's trying not to wake up the guy he was rooming with. He told me that I was probably dreaming and I should go back to sleep. And then he hears, time to change my diaper. And he asks me, what the hell is that? And I'm like, what the fuck do you think that was? He's quiet. But I have every hair on my neck and my body standing on attention. So, ignoring every rational instinct in my brain and body, and the plot of any horror movie, I decide to leave my bedroom and see what's going on. Like I said earlier, my stepdaughter was 8 and she had her girl stuff everywhere. So I go into the computer room next to her bedroom and there is a stroller with a stupid doll that talks. I flipped it over. She has a battery slot in the back, but the power on the doll is turned off. Eek. So I breathe and say out loud, maybe the battery's shorted out. I'm trying to stay logical. So I flip the doll over, open the battery pack and remove the batteries. Not 30 seconds later, I hear, time to change my diaper. Those who know me say I am a very calm and rational person. At this point, I lost my ever-loving shit and burst into tears. My calm, always balanced husband from a bathtub in a hotel in Philadelphia is still on the phone with me and he's yelling, get out of there.
I really enjoy her doll impersonation.
Me too. Also, I don't mind dolls. They're not scary to me, but I've always had a thing with talking dolls.
I know. I don't like that. And there's way, way, way too many stories of people taking shit's batteries out and it still talks.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't like that. All right, second part.
Hi, it's Jennifer again, part 2. So I don't know where I got it cut off, but I said my husband, I left us in the bathtub, him in the bathtub, yelling at me to get out of the house because he can't save me in time. But after a moment, I realized that the voice is coming from the room next to where I found the doll, which is her actual bedroom. I was like, oh, shit, does she have another stupid doll? Again, being the horror movie dumbass, I tell my husband from the position in the bathtub that I'm going into Kate's bedroom where I heard the laugh again. I'm beyond terrified, pissed, and determined to find this chucky-ass monstrosity and take care of this shit so I could go back to bed. I went to where I was hearing the sound, which was in a basket on top of her toy box, and it turned out this stupid doll had a remote control that fucking talked. Why? Who asked for this? Then I try to remember who hated us enough to buy this thing for her in the first place. Turns turned out things started sliding around in a basket where the stupid remote was at 3 a.m. and allowed the stall to start talking to me for no good reason whatsoever. I took the batteries out of the remote as well. Thankfully, the talking ceased. Thankfully, the only upside is that the doll said it was what it was supposed to say. Otherwise, I would probably had to burn my house down. You could bet your ass I took every doll, anything that had batteries or spoke or had a remote, put it in a plastic garbage bag to, of course, cut off its air supply, and threw it outside in my backyard. I was obviously up for the rest of the night, and the next day dropped all of it off in a bin at Goodwill, which I guess now I feel kind of bad about if it was haunted, because then I gave it to someone else. After the worst of my panic attack was over, I sat on the couch with a cup of coffee and spoke aloud to my house. It dawned on me that it was the first night I was in the house by myself, and maybe the house was telling me it had my back or something crazy like that. Weird things have happened since we had moved in there that made me feel like I was not alone, but not in a scary way. So sitting there on the couch, I said, I appreciate the fact that you wanted to communicate with me, but next time, can you just leave me a note or ring the doorbell? Talking items are an absolute no-go. Thank you very much. From that day forward, the doorbell would ring at crazy times for no reasons. We replaced the doorbell 3 times. So I don't know if that was them or not, or just a weird thing, but it was a funny story, and I love you guys. So I will hopefully hear this later. Bye-bye!
I like it.
When I was a little boy,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted so badly this action figure that was called Rom the Space Knight.
Okay.
He was a comic book character, but created to be a toy, whatever. But it was expensive. Somehow for Christmas, I got the Rom the Space Knight toy.
Mm.
Rom made sounds.
Mm-hmm.
He had a translator that made a bleep, 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 bleep sound. He had a rocket sound of his jets taking off. He had this breath monitor thing that he did. About 3 weeks after Christmas, my mom came flying downstairs one morning because she thought there was like a demon in her room.
Mm.
But I had left the Rom toy upstairs under her bed. And when the battery died, it started doing its breath noise.
Gross.
And she fucking freaked out, and my dad wasn't home, and my dad came home, and we looked under the bed, and it was my fucking Rom the Space Knight toy.
Oh my god. Do you have one of those now?
I do.
I figured you did. You buy back all your old shit.
Yep. Keep recording.
Okay.
All right, this is my Rom the Space Knight toy. I have just gotten it off of my shelf. I don't know if the sound will be picked up, but I'll try and make him do the sound that he did that my mom heard.
Ew. Mm.
So she heard that coming from under her bed.
Okay, we get it.
So that's Rom the Space Knight.
Rom needs a CPAP machine.
For sure.
All right, that's all we got for this time.
I also had one time scary toy thing.
What?
This is why a lot of toys can fuck people up.
Mm-hmm.
I had a Casper the Friendly Ghost, a wind up like Pop Goes the Weasel box.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, you could never like get it to completely unwind.
Mm-hmm.
So just randomly throughout the day, you wouldn't be thinking about it, and you'd hear like 2 notes go. You'd hear like dun dun, and I'd be like, "Oh, fuck all this."
You mean like a Jack in the Box?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, those are historically fucking terrifying.
Yes.
Don't bring those in your house.
I do not have my original Casper Jack in the Box, although I will get one day.
Ugh.
I look forward to restoring it.
Good grief.
Good calls this time.
I know. I told you.
Good work, everybody.
I scared the shit out of everybody. Said I was going to judge your ass and delete all your voicemails, and everybody came through.
Short, sweet, informative, spooky, to the point.
Good sound quality.
Santa Muerte, Russians, ghosts, dolls.
Boom. Everything.
Everything you could want.
Vampire parties.
Vampire parties.
Okay. That's all we got. That's our EVP episode. That's our 100th episode.
100th episode, everybody.
Good job. Great job.
Thanks all 2 of you who listen.
Stop. It's not true.
Give me a second before we go off this 100 episodes.
Okay.
Let me look up. The thing that we're listened to least on is Google Podcasts,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the easiest for me to find the search terms
Mm-hmm.
for how people are finding us,
Mm-hmm.
and they're usually pretty funny. So let me find how people have been finding us lately.
Okay.
Okay. Date a weirdo is number 1.
Nice. That's
People just out there Googling date a weirdo.
you want to date a weirdo, we're your guys.
Weirdos on boats.
So Titanic thing?
Maybe. Jessica Catfish.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I'm not a catfish.
Is there a politician out there? Tenny for president.
No, they're just wishful.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's some of our top search terms on our least listened to platform.
Last time, what were they? What was the one of them was like an episode title. It was Toad something. Toad.
Yeah,
Baby.
it was like Toad Halloween Dog Fish or something.
No, it was something Toad Halloween Baby. Or something.
Yeah, it was like Halloween costume Toad Baby.
Oh, best Google search ever. Oh, that's funny.
All right.
Good job.
Good job, everybody.
Good job, everybody. Thanks for your calls. They were amazing, and we love you.
Keep calling.
Keep them coming. 313-444-5170.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Good work, buddy.
And there's a graphic on our Instagram with that number if you need to look at it. And our P.O. box is on there. And basically any information you could need in your life. And I'll post the Santa Muerte pictures. And I'll post whatever the hell else. Anything I can embarrass Tenny with. Anything. Just look out for anything.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, buddy.
Okay.
I'll talk to you later.
Oh my God. Bye.
Goodbye.
Oh my God. Bye.